As a scientist, when you get hung out to dry and publicly humiliated by your government, what do? You suck it up, smile for the cameras, then go back and bunker down in your little lab to plot and plan to get your own back. That is exactly what is happening in the small pelagic fishery at the moment, which of course impacts South Australian sardines. You see, when there was so much community outcry against the super freezer trawlers, such as the Geelong Star, the government, faced with this public feedback, kicked the super trawlers out. That is despite, according to the scientists themselves, that their science supported such an industry. They were most likely livid. They just couldn't understand anyone not believing them or using their recommendations, but instead listening to the unruly masses. Sound familiar? Scientists not giving a toss what the little people think and going ahead with their own set of beliefs. So now they've come out, albeit in disguise, they've finished an FRDC report called Small Pelagics Research Coordination Program by Colin Buxton, a professor from the Uni of Tasmania and principal of Colin Buxton and Associates. In its executive summary it states, "The aim of the coordination program was to build confidence in the science underpinning the sustainability of small pelagic fisheries in Australia, those same fish targeted by the Geelong Star." They even stated that an international expert forum claimed the management of the fishery, especially the South Australian sardine fishery, was consistent with, now wait for it, world's best practice. I mean, I'm sick and tired of hearing this phrase, because I know when it is used, it is generally hiding something. The report concludes by stating, despite this, there remains a considerable lack of community support for the fishery, and that more needs to be done to counter misinformation about its sustainability. The document was completed in January this year for the FRDC. So now we go to its brother organisation, AFMA. They were running at the same time a public comment phase to determine if pair trawling can be approved under the Small Pelagic Fishery Management Plan. So now we get the real picture. FRDC does a report saying the SPF is a sustainable fishery. Then AFMA comes out after the public consultation phase and gives the all clear to pair trawling. This is despite the large bulk of the submissions voicing deep concern at the practice. Same old here. So what does this all mean? Pair trawling is basically two boats pulling one big net between them. The boats may be smaller in size to the Geelong Star, but the net they're dragging scoops up just as much. Okay, we've taken the politicians out of the game. AFMA puts it in as an 18-month trial, using two vessels out of Eden and Ulladulla on the east coast. Wherever the Geelong Star fished, it had to go back to Melbourne, whereas these two vessels, which aren't full freezer capable, can return to their ports every 4 days. It wouldn't be hard to determine that they'd catch probably more than the super trawlers. But here's another stinger. The fishery covers 3 million square kilometres of coast from southwest Western Australia around up to Queensland. So these two little boats dragging one big net between them will smash fish stocks in a small area off the New South Wales south coast. And after the 18-month trial, the verdict from the scientists will be that it is sustainable. And they'll have a little fist pump after that's been announced and smile to themselves.